And it's starting right now. All
Boom.
right.
Facebook. What's up?
Hey, yeah, welcome everybody to Ponytails Podcast, episode number 13 on January 10th, 2021. 2020 is over. We've already had a couple episodes, but we're excited to have some of our favorite people from the state of Florida that are now living in Nashville. That's Jake, Lowe, and Aubrey Bell, who met selling books. They are currently engaged to get married. When is that happening?
March 26th, 2022.
Hey, so a year and a couple months. That's actually that's my mom's 60th birthday.
Wait, speaking of birthdays, I want to take this time to congratulate you, Nick, on your birthday. Happy birthday, Nick.
Thanks. I showed up. I made it. Yeah. Woo.
1, 2, 3. How'd you do it?
27 years ago, I convinced, 27 years and 9 months ago, I convinced my stuff happened. All right. That's why I'm
explanation on how babies are made. Let's move on.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. So, again, welcome, Jake and Aubrey. We're excited to have you. Now, if I remember correctly, we got 3 years selling books between both of you. How many years with Southwestern did you spend?
I sold 2 summers, and then Aubrey and I sold my third,
which was
together,
my first.
which is her first.
Yeah.
And then, Aubrey, did you just do one or?
I just did one.
Okay.
One done.
Yeah. And I remember you were top first year, Jake top first year, and top
kicks a major ass.
Stuff. Yeah, cool stuff.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, I mean, that's a whole other sidebar. But like our first years were completely different. I was considered one of those walking crazy people with the Southwestern demo backpack, and so.
Hold on, we need to hear these stories. So tell us about how you where you were before whoever just decided to meddle in your life and go, hey, what are you doing this summer? What were you up to?
You go first.
Okay. Yeah, so I can remember it actually really vividly, believe it or not. There's a guy, his name's Joey Moore. You guys may or may not know that name, but him and I played soccer together growing up in Palm Beach. And so I remember it was like my sophomore year of college at my parents' lake house, Thanksgiving, enjoying family time, whatever. Random voicemail from Joey Moore, who I hadn't talked to, didn't even know we were going to the same college at this time, which was pretty wild. But he was like, yo, man, just got back from 5 days of partying with a bunch of cool people after this internship I did. You got to come talk to me and just meet this lady that I worked with. And I was at kind of a pivotal point in my life. So I was like, oh, that sounds good. Well, come to find out, my stepdad, and I kind of knew this, but didn't really know. He's an alumni. He worked with Rao back in the, back in the 90s and down at FAQ in South Florida. And so because I was at this turning point, it's kind of a crossroad, we'll call it. He ended hitting Rao up and was like, Rao, got my stepson. He's at UCF. Who do you have there that's recruiting, whatever? Well, Jenny Newt was the campus leader at UCF at that time, who had just recruited, had spent, I guess they did 2 summers together with Joey underneath her and running teams and stuff. And so therefore it kind of all trickled down from there, which ended up being me meeting Jenny and Joey not selling that summer. So that was pretty fun.
No way. What summer was that?
2014.
2014. That was my second summer.
My third. Oh, baby. Oh, baby. And then, okay, so then how about you, Aubrey? How did it happen with you?
I don't remember it super vividly like he does, but Jake isn't even the person who kind of recruited me, I would say, because I became friends with Phil and Rob, obviously meeting them through Jake. And then Phil, I just became really close with him, Phil Reese, and he invited me to this info session, right? Yeah, with Amy. And I really didn't even know what it was, but I just remember going and then really liking Amy. And then we had a couple other sit downs, and then all of a sudden I was selling books that summer. There's really nothing to do with it.
So quick insert, I recruited Phil my second summer, and he was one of the first years on my first team. And so Phil and I were roommates, best friends from college. Aubrey and I were kind of dating before she got invited to
Wait. Hold on. You guys, you had already been selected because you were talking about Thanksgiving. Oh, you were third year.
So
I was
I'm
going
just,
into my third summer.
Yeah.
I
Okay.
had recruited Phil. He had already sold his first summer. We were still
Oh, okay.
States. And
But-
then Aubrey and I met like after, in
Your second
2015,
summer,
right?
yeah.
We met in like the fall at school, whatever.
Oh, just casually?
just
Through a fraternity
randomly.
brother of mine.
Yeah.
They went to high school together. So
And then we met in October at the gym through someone, didn't see him for like 2 months, saw him at a bar. He asked me on a date.
Ooh.
I said no. He asked me
wait,
Oh, no.
important. This is totally Southwestern moment.
Second approach.
Dude.
Go ahead.
Literally exactly how it went down. Aubrey was sober, DD that night. It was finals week and my finals were over. You all know
You're ready to party.
how that goes down. And so we closed down the bar. Aubrey's walking out with her friends and I'm like, I remember this chick. And at that point in my life, I'd already committed to like not really pursuing that nightly go out, see if we can pick up chicks kind of deal. It was a different season for me. So I was like, oh, but maybe I can go on some casual dates. That'd be cool. I'm like, we met. Let's go to dinner. She's like, and I sure it did not come out that clearly. It was probably a lot more shocking than that. With a friend, they're hammered, and that she was like, nah. And her friend's like, what? And I was like, all right. How about lunch? And so her friends were like, yes. And I was like, yeah. So
Second approach.
There you go.
right before like I had my finals, or maybe like right after.
Yeah, I think we ended up like we went to lunch and studied a little bit together and stuff during final. It was like maybe the week right before. Like right after Thanksgiving, literally just got back from Sizzler and then right before finals, because I think we ended up like studying together.
We did. Bit. Yeah.
So then,
and I was literally so nervous. I tell everyone this because I've never been so nervous for a date in my life. Like
Wow.
I didn't even know how to date. Like I thought
Really?
I just got out of a relationship like months before and I was so nervous, but
it worked. He did it.
Yeah.
So then that spring you got recruited. What was it like towards the beginning of the semester? Like where you went like me, where I got selected the last week of finals and then we left that next day, or were you more earlier?
I committed early. Like I committed before him and I started officially dating in March of 2016.
Okay.
Yeah. Right? Hadn't I? Yeah, because I was trying out for the cheerleading team at UCF and literally tryouts had ended the day before we all left to drive up to Nashville. So like I was already committed and like I would say like probably right before.
Was that when
it was like end
March?
of February
March?
probably.
Yeah, something like that.
So you guys had been talking and stuff for a bit. Like you guys were really starting to like think of a relationship already.
Yeah.
Oh,
but Valentine's Day, and then I was like,
Valentine's Day. He's like, bye.
Cut it off. Needed some space. Yo, Obs is the first real mature relationship I'd ever like even thought about going into, and then it was just a lot up front, and so I was like, being a guy, commitment scares some of us. So.
Oh man.
But
so then, fast forward a month later, we went on the same spring break cruise. Aubrey was super mature, gave me the space I asked for, and then I was like, man, if this girl that can respect just a simple, I guess, request or whatever, then maybe there's more to her character and personality than I initially could ever imagine, right? And so then from there, it was just like, damn, she's gonna be working and selling books. Didn't even hit me till weeks later after the date.
Oh man.
I was like, hey, let's just date one day at a time because the whole futuristic thing freaks me out a ton. And that was with the time. So yeah, it was.
Yeah.
Damn. Well done.
In short, Aubrey was pretty dope.
Yeah.
What a badass. She gave him that buying atmosphere. She's like,
dude,
hey, bye.
She knew before we even started. She was like, how do I get this? Well, then she hung out with my best friends the entire cruise, and I was like, this isn't right.
I was just really close with them. So
No, Were you doing it on purpose? Or were you like, I'm gonna go over here?
No, I wasn't. I was just like a butterfly, like a social, just doing my own
That's
thing.
awesome.
Definitely wasn't.
It wasn't.
Or strategic. I think it was just like we've got a really close group of friends, and Aubrey meshed in really well. So it was pretty awesome to see that.
That's
Yeah,
awesome,
This was
man.
back in 2016.
He's grabbing his computer charger.
2015.
No, that was when we started selling books.
15 into 16.
Yeah.
2016.
Okay, so what are you guys up to now? What do you guys do now? Tell us a little bit about that. Like, and if you can implement, like, if applicable, what skills from Southwestern do you use in your career today that like really help you out?
Yeah. So I have an interesting story. I went into college, honestly, probably not knowing what I wanted, like any other college student. And then later on ended up committing to like a health sciences degree because I was like, I want to go into nursing. I really liked healthcare. Like I was big into fitness, love that side of things. So I thought nursing would be like the path for me. And so when Jake graduated college, I actually had just gotten accepted into Nova in South Florida. So he took a job in South Florida. I got into nursing school. I started nursing school. I'm like in my second semester, and I don't know. I wasn't feeling it. And at this point I was already in clinical. So I was in the hospitals, but I don't know. There was just something about it that I was like, this is just not for me. And it took me a couple months to kind of figure that out, but I decided to leave nursing school. And obviously I still had to finish my degree at the time. So lost. I have never been the type of person that is like, oh my gosh, what am I going to do with my life? I'm like such a planner. I'm like, I don't know. I just have this vision for myself. And at that point, I literally had no idea what I wanted, and no idea what I wanted to do. So my stepdad was like, okay, just go get your real estate license. It's great to have. And I'm like, I don't want to be a real estate agent. And I was just like, he was like, I'll pay for it. I'm like, okay, cool. So I went and got my license. At the same time, I'm finishing up my degree online at FAU, which I graduated this past year in May.
Go Owls, right? Is that what they are?
Yeah. So I got my real estate license. I did a couple rentals that first year. And then that same year, I landed a full-time job with a company working as like an assignment coordinator. So kind of what I do now, but as a coordinator. And I was with that company for 10 months. Didn't really utilize my license too much until one of the rentals that I did this past year. I guess I have to like backtrack. So due to COVID, lost my job in June of this past year, in June 2020. That same day, I had an interview set up with his company for like this role that I had just been like honestly manifesting. I'd been talking to the manager for probably 5 months or something, and like just that relationship. And as soon as something came available, she called me and asked me to interview. And so I did. I got the job, but it doesn't start for like another 2 months. So I was like, okay, so I guess I'm going to use real estate. And so one of the rentals that I did the previous year referred me to one of his clients that he had, and they were looking for a second home in South Florida. And he was only coming down for a week, and we had to find him a home within that week. Mind you, I've never sold a home in my life.
Oh.
I had a little bit of an idea, but nothing, like my brokerage wasn't super great. So it was not a lot of help, let's say. So I reached out to a lot of my real estate friends, like shout out to Nick Sproul, because he literally helped me through the whole process and answered like any questions that I had, but ended up selling my first home.
Hey.
And my biggest deal ever.
Tony.
Yeah, we closed in July, the end of July. And I started my new job at the beginning of August.
Hell yeah.
So that was really cool. And like I said, I've been with Citrix, this company now, for 6 months as a contract role. But in the meantime, Jake and I are moving to Nashville and I'm selling all my stuff on Facebook Marketplace. And this couple bought my chair, and they had just moved here from Jacksonville, and I'm still working at Citrix during this time. And they were like, their parents were looking for a place here, but they didn't like their real estate agent. So I sold my chair to them, my desk chair. And I sold a house to them and closed this past November,
And
a
you
month
put,
after we moved here.
and then they put that chair in that house.
Yeah.
Straight ponies.
So
What a tack on. What a tack on.
Yeah. So it's been kind of like a big roller coaster, but also a really big blessing. Like I learned so much through selling those 2 homes and then having my current role now, which I've grown to love and have just an awesome manager, and things that I can apply to my next role, and hopefully get my license here in Tennessee. Well, no, I am getting my license here in Tennessee. So
That's it. That's cool. Man.
Swinging
That's awesome.
doors.
So as an observer through this entire process and the first person that got to hear about all the adversity throughout the entire process, Aubrey handled it like a freaking champ. She is up at 6:30 every morning, diving into the MLS in Florida, looking for properties. And I'm like, you're going to, God's right here. He's waiting for you. Just like, say what's up. Like,
damn.
But like, to kind of give her some credit from like what it was like selling books. She had all these properties scheduled. She set up multiple showings. She was working on virtual showings because that was like a transition like within the industry that she had to figure out. She handled this high net worth client like absolutely beautifully, and just like did such a good job at presenting these different properties in an area and being like a service minded, but also like an expert, right? And just almost like as we talk about in Southwestern, being a duck, right? Super calm on top, feet just kicking astronomically on the bottom. Like that was her. She'd come home freaking out, and I'd be like, "Hey, look, what did you present to them? Because your whole deal is this experience." And she crushed it, and that's why they ended up going with her. And they're absolutely stoked about the place that she bought. So if we're trying to
being
like
a good fiance, build her up. That's awesome.
She got a lot of things from like selling in a high net worth area in North Carolina when she sold, because that was essentially like how they were in the real estate transaction. So
straight up beast mode.
But yeah, Southwestern, definitely. Like I know you said some skills from Southwestern. I mean, just like work ethic and that's always been something that's super important to me. And like you said, service minded.
She qualified the crap out of these people. She exactly what we're looking for, because at first she was just looking at all these different types of properties, and I'm like, well, did you find out what you want? What they wanted? And she was like, well, yeah, kind of. They told me. And then I was like, let's peel back like 5 layers and narrow down exactly what they're looking for. And then Aubrey was able to kind of execute on that perfectly. And then
so I learned a lot through that process. Like, not only did I get to sell a really freaking awesome home to some awesome people, but like I said, Nick Sprout, I hope he watches this video, because I am going to hype him up so much, because he would like hop on even a Zoom call. Like I remember he actually helped me with the qualifying process at first too. Like he was like, this is the questions that I ask. This is how I get to know like exactly what they're looking for before I even take them on as a client. So that was a big learning process too. But yeah, no, Jake and Nick, dream team right there. So thankful to have him.
Yeah. And Jake, you're in insurance now, right? You how recent has that been, the Southwestern Insurance Group?
I believe David moved up here in 2019 to Nashville.
Yeah.
Okay.
To like start laying down the foundation. I want to say it was early 2019. It might have even been the end of 2018. I can't particularly.
Everything's blurring together now, right?
Yeah. So it's been a lot. And so I remember, I think it had to have been 2018, because I remember getting a call from him, and he was like, yo, dude, like, how do you doing this early morning gym thing? It was literally fall 2018. I remember taking the call, and he was like, yo, how are you doing this early morning gym thing? And so that was another side conversation. But started in tech sales post-college, trying to figure out, I think at the end of the day, I was just trying to get a job and go somewhere that someone was like, yes, this is a great place to get started. So I got some validation from a fraternity brother of mine, who's also been a great mentor for me, and got me an interview, and that all kind of played out in South Florida, which was awesome. Being being a door-to-door salesperson in that environment, I think helped me stand out. One of the recruiters was like, yo, actually he met Ralph Brigham at like a ton of different recruiting events. Funny, they set up right next to each other. This guy's name's Lee Sellers, but yeah, he's like, oh, I met Ralph, and man, you Southwestern folks, and he's like from Dallas or Texas or something, so he's got a funny voice, but in a good way. And he was like, man, y'all Southwestern folks know what's going on. I mean, I would love to get a few more of you people in here. And so that was always kind of something that we talked about. He's like, and he was able to relate, what we were doing back to the tech sales. And so after a couple different gigs within Citrix, I was like, man, like this corporate ladder is interesting. It's definitely available. And some people I could see definitely thriving because they want to go hard 40, 45 hours a week. And then whatever, they do on their free time is like where they get to like maximize enjoyment of life. And for me, it was kind of wanted that all the way around. Right.
Oh, yeah.
Didn't want to have the Sunday scaries.
Yeah.
Relate. Right now, I didn't even realize the thing. Someone was like, yo, you got the Sunday scaries. And like, maybe, maybe. So, but early on, it helped me stand apart. I came in as a contractor and they were like, basically, you got to network your way into a new job. So it was like, some people didn't make it. Some people did. Yeah, it was definitely super stressful, but through being a student manager, through, knocking on doors and keeping your cool during
finding a host family, all that,
just all of the different opportunities to develop poise came up, and that's something I held on to really well throughout my time there. And so fast forward, working remote for like 6 months. David Stewart's been trying to recruit me for like almost a year and a half to come to Nashville. And I'm like, hey, there's some cool things we got to achieve. I'm trying to, get debt free. Hobbs and I have some steps that we're trying to make in our relationship. And so it got to the point where I was like, man, what is the end goal here? And apart from money, I didn't really have like a clear vision with like this tech path. And so not that there's anything wrong with that path. It just wasn't really what I was looking for. And so, being a part of something that's early and young and in the development phase, like Southwestern Insurance Group, gave me an opportunity to come in and completely put myself in a state of uncomfortableness because I didn't know anything about insurance at all. And if you do, more power to you. I didn't know a single thing. I was no idea. So I've learned a ton in the last just 4 months. But I think is going to provide an opportunity for me to be more impactful in my day to day. I love having the intimate and one-on-one conversations with people when they're in their element versus like business to business, because it just, I think, provides better relationships. And so loving it so far, and using everything that I learned selling door to door, just hours, attitude, and trying to meet as many people as possible, but leaving everybody in a good mood on the way.
Well,
you guys are impressive.
Definitely what you do are.
He hyped me up, so I have to give him a lot of credit because we had so much going on during this time, like that he's studying for his insurance exam, and like he was managing our relationship and then also trying to study for insurance. In the meantime, planning an engagement that I didn't know about. And like, he's just an awesome person. And also one thing, like, living with him and like also him working remotely. Like I saw the type of person that he was working with, like the corporate company and like the B2B side of things. And then to see like how his daily life and just how his overall demeanor has changed, like working for Southwestern Insurance, has been honestly like incredible. And it really, I don't think anybody else can speak to it because they don't live with him and like know, but it's been great. So
you two are in love. Oh my gosh, this is great.
Damn.
So cute. Edgar Ibarra says y'all are looking great. What's up? Hello.
Tell him I'm trying to get some flow going.
Guys,
just
tell him
like
he needs a trim.
I'm a fan of short hair. I'm a fan of short hair. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, show us your short hair, Andres.
Yeah, I just buzzed it today. Watch this. Boom,
Ah!
baby.
Oh, hello.
You got Professor X in the house.
I got the thing with this is it's COVID time, so there's only one man in town who I'd let touch my hair. He's this black barber dude who's a beast. DJ Romeo, shout out. And COVID happened, and like he was kind of not available, and then I didn't want to be out, because I don't know, things are going crazy in Nebraska, and I was like, it was getting long, don't know. And one day I was just like, you know what? Fuck it. So I just buzzed it all out, and I grew my beard out, so just basically transferred
Yeah.
it
Oh.
down to the bottom.
Just an upside down face right
Yeah,
there.
maybe I should put this on right here. But yeah, so I it's fine. I like it. It's whatever.
Tell you what,
It's cool. He's bald. He
He's
doesn't
in
care.
the stage.
more
He's-
power to the people that decide to be bald and grow out facial hair. If I tried to grow facial hair,
It wouldn't.
you would be asking me what's going on in my face
Yeah.
because I would look like a middle-aged, middle school kid going through puberty, and it would just not be good for anybody. So I'd rather
That's-
throw it out on the top and keep a clean face.
So I'm probably going to be bald within the next 10 years. So I figured I'd start early because it still grows. It's
You gotta
still grow, but
Got ahead of it.
yeah, I got ahead of it. You see
Uh-huh.
it?
You got ahead of nothing, sir. That's bald. Anyway,
Yeah.
moving back to the
Sorry.
conversation at hand here. Just kind of curious because y'all were in the same org, right? Aubrey's first summer. No? Okay. I was like, that doesn't
Very
sound.
close. North Carolina, South Carolina. So we did a couple Sunday meetings, couple border wars together, which is cool.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
One day we'll dive into that one.
Yeah.
We'll dive into that soon, a little bit later.
Well, yeah, we'd love to hear some stories of
Yeah.
you
Let's
know,
get to some of the cool stories.
yeah. So whether it's the your first summer or second summer, Jake, or that same summer that you shared in different states, whether it's a favorite customer, a favorite funny story, just like the story that you love to tell about your experience of knocking on doors.
Wow.
Or a couple.
Put you on the spot there.
Because I only sold one summer,
Yes.
as everybody like to say, one and only summer.
Mhm.
I'll go first.
Yeah, please.
Okay, I don't
Please.
have honestly, I feel like that summer was a big blob for me. Like I don't really remember any of it besides just having freaking awesome roommates like Amy, Tessa, and Emma. Those are my girls. And it was
Shout out to that Power HQ.
and Ryan, yeah. And
Yeah.
that was the best HQ I could have ever, asked for. So I'm really thankful and that aspect. I remember we had a place at an HQ, we were gonna live. And then when we got there, it fell through. So we were just knocking on doors, trying to find a home. And we ended up landing a really sweet apartment with these older folks, and they had a whole 2 apartments on the bottom half of their house.
Oh,
So me, Mariah, and Tessa were on one side, and then Emma and Amy were on the other side. So that was really cool, and they were awesome. But yeah, my summer, honestly, it feels like it all blended together. Not many people know, but I only sold 9 weeks that summer.
and was number 3, right?
Yeah, something like that.
You crushed it. Cool. That's awesome.
Wait, you sold 9 weeks and got number 3?
Yeah.
I had to leave. I left halfway through the
Beast.
summer for a week.
Wow.
Had some family stuff. My grandfather was not doing good. So
Oh man.
I left for a week. And actually, y'all know how hard it is to just leave for this, leave for a little bit, even if it's just a couple days of a summer, and then try and get your
Back
headspace
into book
back
mode.
into book mode. And at that point, y'all, I cried every day. No, maybe only my close friends know it, but I cried every day, and then I would just get out and start knocking on doors. And and Jake knows this because I would call him crying at night, and he would be like,
And in the morning.
"Oh, end of the morning."
And then at night it would be like, oh, how was your day? I'm just waiting for it, right? And then she's like, oh, so 130 units. And I'm just like,
What?
freaking chick.
But I said, I left halfway through the summer for a week, and actually Jake made me write a letter to myself.
I suggested.
No, you suggested. Yeah. Like, no, but it was a good, it was a good he asked me, he told me.
Strongly suggested.
I was like, this is terrible.
He asked me to write like to myself, like why I would kind of want to come back, or like just
why would it be a good idea to finish out the summer?
Yeah, because at that point I was struggling with my grandpa and stuff.
Right.
So my dad still has this. I wrote it on my dad's iPad while I was home. He still has it. He sends it to me on the same day every year. I haven't told you that. I don't know. He sends
That
it
is so cool.
Special.
And he sends it to me because it's on his iPad. And I came back, I finished out the summer, and I like vividly remember telling Mike Yandre, I was like, I just want to be done. I also left 2 weeks early because I had to get a surgery. So I just told him, I was like, I just want to be done. He's like, come on, Aubrey, you got this. Like just one more week. I ended up having my best week ever, my last week of summer. And when I hit, oh my gosh, PC. Yeah. So a really cool experience.
Wow.
Okay.
Yeah. And we can obviously tell the story about me following Jake. I definitely remember.
Oh, that happened?
Yeah.
That's kind of cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, let's we got about 13 minutes before you guys need to wrap up, so we can do that one if you guys want to do that.
Nice. Well, quick side conversation. My second summer I sold in Illinois, by the way, some of the most beautiful summer sunsets. So some of the scariest moments, because a tornado ripped through the area I was selling through like 2 months before, and I was just like, whoa, this is Oz stuff around here. This is gonna be freaky. I remember selling out in some of the cornfield areas, and I had this family that I had just left, and they were awesome. They were like, they knew everybody. Like I was throwing names, and they're like, yep, know them, and they were cool. Got like personal cell phone number, everything like that. They were like, you need to let us know when you're coming back. We'll get a big meal prep for you, all this stuff.
Yes.
Looking at, before all these kids had iPads, I'm still using freaking maps, like trying to figure out where the heck I'm going next. Pull down this road, and as you guys may know, up north, it floods a lot in some of these areas during the summertime. And so I hit a part where it was literally, this road was going down and it was just water. And I was driving a 2008 Jetta. There's no way I was doing it. Well, Buddy comes out of the house that lives close to this area and definitely intoxicated. And I'm like, oh, no big deal. One of these guys. I'll talk him off the ledge, show him what I'm doing. No big deal. He was to the point where he was not accepting anything I was doing. He thought I was, kind of like, what do they call it? Not scouting, but
Chasing houses.
Chasing houses, right? And so he was like, give me your license. I swear to, just all these like super extreme, dude. And he ended up stealing my license from me.
What?
And like threatening me with a gun, like all this crazy stuff. So I remember it was almost like Fast and Furious, throwing it in reverse and just get out of there.
Yeah.
Oh, I had to end up calling the old family. I was like, yo, like, there's this guy out here. This is the road. They're like, you should have never went down that road. And I was like, oh, why did you tell me this?
Wow.
So got up, and of course I didn't have any service in, this middle of nowhere. So finally got to a place where I'm like, hey, like, I don't know what to do. This guy just called, said he was calling the cops on me, threatened me with a gun, stole my license, all this stuff. And so they ended up like knowing the local sheriff went out, got my license, met up with them. And it was just like, whoo. So that was like 2-hour deal.
Dang.
That was like a pretty good day.
Inconvenient.
Yeah, that was pretty wild. The other cool story is So my stepdad sold books, and I was selling in Jenny Newt's org up in Rockford, Illinois, and was going into, I think it was my last week. Well, he's a financial advisor now, and we could totally talk about that on episode number 2 when we come back.
Yeah.
Why he's so successful and how Southwestern shaped his career. But he ended up having a client up in Illinois, and I didn't know this at the time, but it was literally the week before deliveries. Jenny's like, text me in the morning, like, hey, by the way, I need to meet up with you, get some books, we had gotten like early deliveries for the managers and stuff like that. So I'm like, all right, no big deal. It was a Friday. I'm having a great, I literally was sitting on like 110 units by noon. It was an awesome morning.
Great day.
And so I'm like, all right, I'm like literally waiting at this gas station, waiting. All of a sudden, this car pulls up behind me and like blocks me in. And I'm like, oh, geez, who did I piss off today? This is not good.
No.
My bald stepdad pops out of the back of the car. And I'm like, no. So like he ended up following me that day.
Wow.
What?
I
Yeah.
didn't know that. I know that he
Yeah,
followed you.
he like followed me the next day too. Had another, steak day, which was awesome. Finished out my best
Dang,
week ever.
man.
And then he like helped do delivery school at our Sunday.
That's
meeting.
incredible. Wild.
Yeah,
So
Jenny,
your
shout
stepdad
out-
sold
shout
how
out
many
to-
summers?
What's that?
How many summers did your stepdad hold or sell?
He
3?
sold 3. Yeah,
That's awesome.
2 in New York, 1 in Wisconsin, I think.
Cool.
We got to get him on the cast.
Yeah, he would love it. He would love it.
You would have a blast.
He's got a couple buddies that live in South Florida that also sold.
No, send him our way.
I will for sure.
We actually could even do it with all of you guys as well. I don't know. We're trying to think of different styles and formats to try and spice things up, and not just have like a
multi-generation books.
Oh yeah. So it's going to be real cool moving forward. Before we ask about the time when you followed Jake, Aubrey, I'll just kind of make these announcements so that we can wrap up on your story. We've got a few episodes coming up next. Who is on Thursday? We've got Travis Lopez going to be a guest on our podcast this Thursday, the 14th. He's a bit older than us. He sold for 10 summers, has tons of stories, just like a total, like a legend in, the sphere when he was still around. So
Jake, were you around for the Hartman twins? Nicole and Gabby? Okay.
Gabs and I were first years together.
Nicole's dating Travis.
Oh,
I didn't know that.
saw
We just
him.
met him.
Well, it was like New Year's night.
It
so
was
we-
very like,
Ah,
getting there as we were leaving. So
Yeah,
that's exciting.
He's awesome.
he
Cool.
seems like an awesome dude. I've heard
Oh,
a lot
yeah.
of good things
Yeah.
about him.
Sorry to interrupt.
No, you're fine. Yeah. So moving forward, we've got other people, including Fido, Cordell Cox. He just reached out to me during this episode. Who else do we have, Andres?
Elena Arntz is coming up at some point. Yeah, we got some good lineups, so we're excited for this. This has been a really fun thing for me, just because I didn't expect to.
But only for Andres. It's been terrible for me.
I don't know. I just didn't know. It was a dumb idea.
I hate
That was
It's the
just a
worst.
silly thing, and people really like latched onto it, and it's been so fun. So
Could have been a good podcast.
People love to share stories.
yeah, it's so fun. All right. Okay. Speaking of stories, I want to hear how you guys. I mean, it's probably nothing too crazy happened, but maybe something crazy happened. You followed each other. That's so cool.
I was just having like a rough. I was going through a rough patch.
Crying a lot.
I think. And so I don't know how. Maybe like we asked.
No, I think Pagosi hit me up and was like, "Hey, can Albs come follow you tomorrow or something like that?" And I was like, "Hell yeah, let's go!" Like we hadn't had a chance to really we saw each other, like I said, a couple Sunday meetings, but we were dating at this point, talking twice a day type of deal, and sending each other motivational videos and hyping each other up, and so
You sent me letters.
sent a couple letters. So
Oh,
it was awesome that we were gonna get
tugs
to
on my heartstrings. Okay.
oh, nice, dude.
Andres, calm down.
Dude, that's so romantic.
I guess I don't know. So keep talking.
So anyway, Amy was like, "Yo, can I just come follow you?" I'm like, "Absolutely." So Aubrey got there like 9 a.m. We're rolling. I had a ton of gravy to follow up with, but there's this one neighborhood where I hadn't really dove into yet. That was like kind of been waiting to go into. I wasn't really sure if there's any families in there. It's probably like 3:30, 4 o'clock in the afternoon.
Yeah, I was later.
Met a couple cool people, had some funny stories, had this guy tell us about the lake in the area that people were cutting up bodies and putting them in oil containers and send them into. So that absolutely destroyed
I was so
Aubrey. She
scared.
was freaking out the rest of
No.
So that we were talking about that earlier today, actually. But all in all, just had like a fun day. Like my ultimate goal was to just be a great student manager at that point, right? Because even though we were dating, I was trying to be like, how do I? Because we're still in like we were dating like 2 months, and then we went into like selling books. So it was just a matter of how do I further convict Obs that this is a great thing. I've been working hard. Let's show her who the type of person I am is. I think is probably where I was coming from. Honestly, don't remember, but I think that's probably like, let's just go have fun. Like this job's not that hard. It's literally like we get paid to sit on our butt and have conversations and like hype kids up about like their future lives. Like at the end of the day. So we had a fun day, and all of a sudden I'm like, man, like we gotta like have a cool story. I gotta put her on the spot. And Aubrey, we had, like I said, been dating, so I knew a little bit about her, and she tried the voice back in high school. She's got an incredible singing voice, like blow your mind. Should be on a stage performing in front of hundreds of thousands of people one day. That is where Aubrey Lane Bell should be.
Next episode, tune in.
yeah, she'll rehearse. She'll get ready for you guys. We'll get one of those actual singing microphones.
There you go.
I don't need one because my voice is so loud.
No, but I'm saying so that the quality for the fans. You can't let this MacBook Pro microphone try to do your voice justice. That's so anyway,
we're booking you right after this.
Hadn't been there ever, but saw some whatever. We pull into the driveway. Mom hops out on the front porch. Hey, like, what's going on? You guys.
What are you guys doing?
What are you guys doing? I was like, oh. And just like, I don't know why, but that moment I was like, this is the house we get to mess with somebody. I was like, oh, we're actually trying to gather a bunch of votes. Aubrey here is going to be trying out for the voice.
I'm behind him.
She's like following. She's behind me. I've got my pad. I'm like, Aubrey's really trying to get some support from the locals. She's really excited about her singing career. Is it okay if she sings for you?
And at this point,
I just turned and she just, her face just is like destroyed. She was like, how in the world are we going to pull this off?
Oh my God.
It was literally like, it was like the best prank you could have ever asked for, like in the moment, in my personal.
Oh man.
Aubrey like goes up, she crushes the song. Like Ab's just like, wow, you did so great. But are you guys selling those educational books? Yes, let's go. She's like, oh my gosh, like y'all have come around before, but come in here. Like I'm homeschooling my kids. I want to see what you got. And we dropped a bag. She bought everything.
The bag,
everything.
Her husband was
my gosh. So like we're getting into the clothes and like going through.
He's a trucker and they go on the road together.
So this mom is like such a cool mom. She's like homeschools her kids. Her husband's a trucker, so they like go all through the country. She follows in like the pull behind trailer, homeschools. They get to like see the world, or at least the US or whatever, as he like takes new jobs and stuff like that. So Dad is literally on the recliner when we walk in. We say what's up, watching TV. We go to the kitchen table. Well, 30 minutes later, after we kind of go through, she's asking a bunch of questions because she's, the homeschool moms are always extremely diligent. They want to know exactly what they're getting. They want to see how it fits in with what they're trying to teach their kids, all that kind of stuff. So we looked at like the adventure library. We looked at the 4-book set. We looked at the 7-book set, and she was like, okay, this is all looking pretty good. I'm like, okay, awesome. Pen to paper close, no big deal. But right before that, I was like, well, do we need to wake him up? And she was like, nah, he's good. And she whips out her card. She goes, I'm going to put everything on this card. This is the one I use for all the educational books and stuff like that. And I was like, boom.
Yeah.
$60 later, we walked out of there. It was an awesome sale. And I think I ended up, it was like right around 100 units for the day. So it was like really cool that Obs and I got to turn that story into like a awesome sale too, rather than just like, man, that was some lady we tried to prank.
Legit
way to sing your heart out.
Yeah.
What song did you sing?
I think I sang Adele,
it was
right?
Definitely Adele.
Yeah.
Except better.
No, we rolling in deep. Anyway, it's 7:00 your time. I'm not sure if you got to get going, but it's been a pleasure just catching up, having a few conversations about our time doing that one crazy thing. So
Yeah,
Yeah,
sorry
yeah.
guys, it's grandma and grandpa over here, but we
No.
really appreciate you guys having us.
It's
No
been-
worries. No worries. We were due for like a shorter episode, and this was super fun. It was a good conversation the whole time. So I really do appreciate you guys. And plus, now we can still have you guys again some other time down the line. So
For sure.
that's the good news.
Yeah, we didn't
Love.
even dive into anything other than just a couple stories how we recruited. So there's definitely a
Yeah.
whole lot more to uncover.
Definitely a lot more. Absolutely.
Thanks for having us. This was awesome. That hour flew by.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
That was quick. That was quick.
Well, have yourselves a happy 2020, happy New Year, and all the
2021.
blessings to you too, and everything that goes with that. So stay in touch, and I'll be uploading this on YouTube here shortly, and we'll make sure that you can share this with all your friends and family. So
Yeah, everybody watching on YouTube, if you guys want, make sure to follow us on the Facebook, on the Ponytails podcast page, and on YouTube if you want, so you can see like new episodes that are coming up and stuff like that. So yeah, and send us in the group chat, send us names for the people that you think we should have, like your stepdad and all his buddies.
Absolutely.
For real, send them their names, and then we text them, and then we'll try to get a
give us
hold of
some
them.
referrals.
I think that y'all should, okay, we got to send him David Schwartzberg because he has some really funny stories. I followed Phil and one day, and because he was my student manager, and David has the funniest stories.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I got like 10 people I can send your way
Yeah.
right
Rock
after.
on.
Like for real, actually put them on the group chat and then text them and be like, hey, somebody's gonna contact you about a podcast. Make sure you.
Done.
Okay.
All right.
Yes, thank you so
Thank
much.
you
That's
both.
awesome.
Yeah, thank you guys.
Can't wait to be
Appreciate
back.
it, guys. Thank you so much.
Have an awesome time. Peace out. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.